This is a bold ass statement, but I'll go as far as saying that this just might be the cure for depression and self-inflicted forever naps. What we're gonna talk about today is one of the hardest things that a human can learn how to do. It's fucking hard. In a very nuanced way, the entire 33 degrees equips you, prepares you for this. Let's talk about it. I ask you that as we get into today's message, today's degree, that you suspend any disbelief, just like when you're watching a good movie, and you open your heart and your mind to the possibility of what I'm saying and allow it to be true. At least just let it be true for the duration of this video. And I'll go as far as saying that if you can master and apply and embody what we're gonna talk about today, in the only way a person possibly can, but you will have almost literally flipped your entire human experience inside out. You'll be on the other side of a spectrum that you didn't realize that you were on the side that you're on. I just want you to come into today realizing that everything I talk about, all of my life's work, everything really brings you back to this. It prepares you for this. And when we get this figured out, I'm telling you, it's a different human experience. And you can do this. Anybody can do what we're talking about. And don't worry, we'll get into it. You can, you will, you must figure this shit out. Or else for the rest of your life, you will never have had the life you could have. And I firmly believe that one of the greatest God-given treasures that we possess, that we have the ability to tap into and to hold and to share and to spread through the world is this. Like this is it. Like this is the holy grail. And it's not just that you can get to this point, but it's the psychological muscles that you develop and the person that you become in the process of getting to this. So what is this? Well, today we're talking about how happiness is not the goal. That is not the game we are playing. Happiness is not what we are after. Equanimity of mind, that's the game we're playing. Emotional mastery, the ability to not be swayed in your emotions, to be knocked off of your rocker, regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of the fire that you're walking through. We are after emotional mastery. And every single psychological muscle that you can develop that will help you do that, you will do in the process of learning how to embody what we are going to talk about today. So back in the 4th degree, we talked about the law of attraction and how we do not attract from our intentions. We manifest from our identity. We talked about how we live in a be, do, have universe. We have to be the person, right? So a lot of the lessons that we went over in the 4th degree, we're going to bring into this degree. So think about how we live in a be, do, have universe. It's not, I have the thing and then I get to be somebody. No, I get to be somebody now, then do the thing so that I can have it. That's the world we live in. So what we're aiming to be is in complete control of our emotions. We are aiming for emotional mastery, not just to have an emotional experience, mastery. And the reason we're not aiming for happiness 100% of the time is because happiness 100% of the time is not possible. And that chase right there is exactly the trap. Because wanting to be happy 100% of the time leads us to going after the things that quote unquote make us happy, at least in the moment, only to be left feeling high and dry after we get it, and that insatiable desire to have more rears its ugly head, and off to the races we go. Once again, what are you doing that for? I'm on my way to getting my happiness. Okay, good luck with that. What we want to do is become the person who can be sad and happy at the same time. Because there's nowhere that it says that you're not allowed to have conflicting and contrasting emotions simultaneously and in tandem with each other. Because that's just fucking ridiculous. And let me give you an example. I can be at a wedding, or rather, a funeral. I can be at a funeral. Somebody's dead, a close relative, a friend, somebody important in my life, somebody who impacted me in a powerful way, somebody who just is absolutely going to be missed, and the world is not as good of a place as it was now that they're not here any longer. I can be at one of those funerals, and I can be happy. I can bring light into the room. That's not being in denial. That's not abandoning myself. That's mastery. Being able to empathize and let myself feel how I just end up feeling and have that experience, but at the same time, choose happiness. What kind of person would I be? What kind of man would I be if I was at a funeral and my emotions had gotten to me to the point where I just couldn't be happy, and some little girl just wanted to talk to me because she was sad and she needed somebody, and I got an attitude with her and I let my excuse be, well, it's a funeral. Fuck that. You're better than that. You're stronger than that. You've got the wits to master yourself. How do I know that you do? Well, two reasons. One, you're a human. And two, if you're still fucking here, trust me, you've got what it takes. So since the biggest issue is that most humans are psychologically conditioned to just be in this trap and they don't realize it's a trap, we're going to dismantle that trap today, and we're going to rebuild a new structure. That's what we're going to do. And that trap being that your happiness comes from achievement. You're going to be happy when you get the thing. Like, that is so deeply and psychologically and spiritually rooted into your body. We need a whole new structure for you to grab onto so that you can begin to create a new understanding and relationship with what it is we're talking about today. And you can disown and get rid of, discard your old beliefs in regards to what happiness is and why we're not aiming for happiness 100% of the time, but aiming for spiritual mastery. So the first thing we have to do, let's put names to the pieces. So we have happiness. That's the thing we're after. And then we have what I'm going to use as an example, because this is what I think most people would equate it with. Happiness equals success. Success equals happiness. So when I'm successful, when I get the thing, when I get the promotion, when I get the car, when I get the girl, when I get the guy, when I get the boat, when I get it, success equals happy. That's how we think. But what we've done is become addicted to the dopamine highs, and we think that those highs are the highs that we're looking for, because oftentimes the dopamine hits that you get from social cues and outer stimuli in the world are so fucking high that they exceed the experience that you have internally all on your own just because of who you are. Let that land. So naturally and organically and inevitably, you were going to gravitate towards this cycle, towards this trap of chasing something so that you can become happy. And you're conditioned that your happiness comes from the getting. It's not. Let's tear that down. Let's rebuild that. So I agree that happiness is success, though. But I have an entirely different definition of what success is. And when you tie happiness to this success, it'll all make sense. Now, I actually learned this from Earl Nightingale and his definition of success, which is now my definition of success and what needs to be. There aren't many things where I'm going to tell you what you have to do or need to do. Most of the 33 degrees are me just putting stuff down. You can pick it up if you want. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but I'm going to tell you this. This needs to be your definition of success. Period. All right. Earl Nightingale says, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What does that mean? That could be translated into falling in love with the process, falling in love with the journey. It's telling you that the way that I want to feel when I get the thing, instead of waiting to get the thing to feel it, go ahead and feel it now. And instead of having a big old gap in between each time you feel that, let that feeling fill the gap. That's what we're after. Whatever it is you're building, whatever it is your dreams are, whatever journey you're on, the greatest human experience will be had when you fall in love with the process, when you invert your current belief system around happiness and success. Now, I know some of you are thinking, that's cliche as fuck. Falling in love with the process. Yeah, you've heard it so many damn times and you haven't been able to do it, that's why it's got you feeling how you're feeling. One of the greatest God-given thing that you have in you is this. And it's so simple, you overlook it every single fucking day. You overlook it every day. The one thing that will invert 180, turn upside down and inside out your world is this, and you're sleeping on it. We have heard the ancients talk about it. We have heard all the gurus, all the motivational speakers talking about it. It's so simple. It's right there in your face, but you won't see it. And it's because it's almost impossible. Why? Your nervous system. Let's talk about it. You have been programmed and conditioned since birth. And if you have not gone into your psyche and uprooted and completely remanufactured your belief system and your relationship to happiness and success, then your nervous system is not going to let you do this work easily. But there is a most direct path, and I'm going to share with you how to stay on that direct path. It's the hardest path, but it's the quickest path. It's the truest path. So I'm going to ask you to get a very strong understanding of what I'm about to share, because this is the key that gets you into this work. Like, this particular nuance right here, if you miss this, it'll be more difficult for you to do the work. So understand what I'm about to say. Logically and intellectually, with your conscious mind, with your prefrontal cortex, you can sit here right now and you can think and you can have the thought and you can go, you know what? I understand there's this idea that here I am now. Here's my future self. This is how I feel. This is how I want to feel. There's a gap. I'm aware of that. And I realize that what we're talking about today is that this future self and this happy self can actually be the person who lives in the present moment. And that I can actually spend the rest of my human experience just doing that. Like, I no longer have to get anything to have that emotion, to have those feelings, to have that human experience. Okay, I intellectually and can logically see that that's the conversation we're having. And now that you see that, you have an option. And I'm going to suggest that you choose option A, which is believe that wholeheartedly and accept it as truth without needing to know how. You don't even need to know, don't even worry about anything other than, can you blindly accept that as truth right now. Because if you can and if you will, it will open the door to you seeing what you need to see. But without you agreeing to this, it's not that I want you to because it's what I want. It's what you need to do to get access to this. You have to agree that this is real or it won't work for you. You won't be able to do the work. So, you agree. There's a gap. You can close it and you don't have the slightest fucking idea how. Perfect. Because you agree and you tell yourself that what I just said is true, the divine intelligence at play, like we talked about before, you create that gap, divine intelligence will close it. How? By taking you into your psyche and sitting you down or putting you right in front of your shadow. The world will always present people and places and circumstances to show you where you're not free. So what does that mean? That means anytime you get triggered, you need to trace that trigger back to yourself because you're giving away your happiness. You're letting the external world dictate what goes on in your inner world. And by the very nature of making the decision to put into practice what naturally comes through to you and asks you to put into practice because you're on this journey of trying to make this transition from being the current self who's unhappy to the future self who's happy, like just the intention of doing that, you will day in and day out, as long as you keep humility in your back pocket, be brought to face with your shadow 1,000,000 times to give you an opportunity to do the work. The reason this is going to happen is because of the nervous system and all the layers of psychological and spiritual protection that you have put on yourself. And you have to peel those layers back. Because even though you logically and intellectually have agreed and understand that, yeah, I can be that future self, that happy self now. I believe it and I know it, but you still can't. It doesn't matter that you want to. We have to retrain your nervous system. How do you retrain your nervous system? By days, months, and years of crucial and excruciatingly painful, but absolutely worth it inner work. Like, there's no way around that. But this is the journey. And every time you get brought face to face with your shadow when you're triggered and you make it about you, not anything else, you make it about you. Say, I'm triggered because of me, period. If you accept that as truth, which you have learned to do by now, and you do that work, whatever it is for you, you will have peeled back a layer of that protection on your nervous system. And eventually you'll have started shifting across that spectrum. And you will find yourself being happier more often than you used to be, just because you choose to be. And eventually you get past the midway point, and now you spend a majority of your life in this happy state. And you keep doing this and you keep peeling back and you keep diving into your psyche, and eventually you're almost there. And then you get so far into this journey and then you realize at the very top of it, you'll never be at 100%, but you can max out at 99.99% and have an incredible life. Have an inverted human experience. All right, now before we get out of here today, I want to show you guys something, because I said a lot, we've talked about a lot in the degrees so far. Yeah, by the way, welcome to the 33 degrees. Today is the 8th degree. Glad to have you. So, I just want to show you guys something, and if you would, not yet, wait until I'm done. You can take a picture now. But take a picture of this, screenshot this, put it in your phone, and keep it for reminders. as a reminder to how simple everything we just talked about really is. And for some people like me, I'm extremely visual. And if I can make points audibly, visually, and emotionally, I can really drive it home in my own mind. And I'm sure some of you will appreciate this. So, check this out. This right here, this is you now. There we go. Now we're in focus. This is you now, not happy. This is the future you, happy. This is what we just talked about. Just look at the top half really quick. So this is the state that most people live in. They spend their whole life knowing that their happiness comes from the future. Like, they'll get it later. Now let's look at this bottom half, completely separate from the top half. Just look here. This is you, still sad, just like before, right now. This is you when you don't have. Don't have, sad. In the future, you do have. What does have equal? Have equals happy. That's that trap that we were talking about. So, what do? I'm going to show you. So what we have to do, and really quick, what I'm about to share with you and what I just shared with you, and nothing that I'm about to explain, am I explaining the how? The how we just went over. And the deeper how is when you get into the inner work and just start doing this work. Like that's the how. And the divine intelligence at play will guide you through that. That is your work to do. This is the plan though. This is what we're after. Visualize this concept. Let this land. Understand that this is what we are after right now. What we have to do is become the person who right now is happy. Happy just because we've chosen that. Like that's the state that we want to be in. And then in the future, we're happy. Why? Well, because we're always happy. So, and our entire life experience is an eternal now. You will always be in the moment. There is no yesterday. There is no tomorrow. The only place you'll ever be is right where you are right now. Think about it. So, now it's happy. Future's happy. So look at this. If you manage to get to the state where the now is happy, when you get down to this point, or you realize that you don't have something that you want, what are you? You're happy. Because you're happy now, regardless of what you have, right? So if we used to be sad when we didn't have, but now we're happy when we don't have doesn't equal happy anymore. This is the flip. This is the trap that we've been in our whole life. Your whole life, understand something, your nervous system, the chemicals in your body that are causing you to be who you are, have the thoughts that you have, the sensations in your, like all of that, it's coming. I'm telling you guys, this shit'll change your fucking life if you let it. This is your whole life. Your nervous system has been trained for this. Everything. Win the competition. You got to win. You got to get first place. You'll be happy when you get it. Like this is what your nervous system is in a snapshot right now. This is what we're going to do. What we have done, once we've done all of this, is you've gotten to the point where now is happy, future's happy, don't have is happy, have is happy. But what we have ultimately done is we have trained ourselves to have the true understanding of what having means. Having means you have it. Your whole life you have been chasing being happy in the future by having something. Your nervous system is wired for that trap. When you understand that having equals having, and you can be happy now, you have inverted your human experience. This is hard work. Like I was saying earlier, intellectually, logically, you can wrap your head around this and go, yeah, even though I can't do it, I agree that just makes sense. It's so ingrained in you that you can't just flip this switch. You have to peel back the resistance. You have to go in. And that's why most people, well, let me back up. This is why a lot of people can have anything and everything that they've ever wanted. All the money in the world. They got the house, they got the girl, they got the boat, they got every fucking thing. But they still eat a bullet. They still take the self-inflicted forever nap. Why would anybody do that? When you have everything you've ever wanted. Why? Because you haven't figured this out. This is it. Like, this is it. And I'm excited for you because you're here. The 33 degrees are going to help you open up your heart and your mind and peel back that resistance. The same way it did for me. I have practiced and embodied everything that I am teaching you guys in the 33 degrees, and I continue to apply it daily. Motherfucking daily. I've gotten to the point where everything we just talked about, I'm on the 99%. I've gotten to the side, I've gotten all the way to the other side, but you can never get all the way to the other side because we're fucking humans. We're always capable of being reminded of that. Being knocked off of our rocker, jolted out of our perspective. Like, we are human. You are going to fall short. But you can get to the point where you're just on the other side of that spectrum, which is where you ought to be. So you can either be somebody who has life happen to them, or you can do this work and start making this transformation and be somebody who has an entirely different human experience, somebody who has life happen for them, not to them. So I'll leave you with one last thing before we close up for the day. You can either have your ultimate levels of happiness now, in the mess, in the mayhem, or you're going to spend the rest of your life chasing a mirage. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the 9th degree.